signal here, Ferry, 5 and 9 plus 5, maybe 10 in the peak, and your audio is...
9 Charlie Sierra Echo, Golf for 6 Mike, and November 175.
Hello, my dear friends. My name is Paul, and I'm at the radio. Call sign is Oscar Mike 0 Echo Tango. Welcome to my channel. You are currently looking at the latest model of the Quansheng UV-K5 radios. This is the model 99, and I upgraded the original firmware by the IJV firmware, which is the version 3.16. With this version and this firmware, I can actually receive and transmit in a dual sideband on 2 meter and 70 centimeter. I can even go to the airband, and also I can receive the SSB signals on the short waves. But there is some hardware limit in this radio. I cannot go below 15 megahertz. So therefore I cannot receive the signals on 20 meters or 40 meters or even 80 meter band. And therefore I decided to purchase this tiny PC board or PCB from the AliExpress from China. This is actually the second version of the hardware modification. The first version of the hardware modification you can see in one of my previous videos. So let me describe what is actually new and added in this second version of the board. So the main new feature on this new second version of the board is added this audio amplifier, the stage here in the upper portion of the board. This is due to the a very low audio which was on the first version of the modification in a single sideband mode on the short waves. Also here down there you can see a new filter for FM and shortwave bands, and also they added these new high quality coils with low internal resistance, which makes filtering even better on the short waves and the FM bands. Also they added this tube, which is the high voltage protection, because this is one of the options of this new upgrade, that you can install 2 antennas together on the radio. So you can remove this LED from here and you can replace this by the SMA socket connector for an external secondary antenna for shortwave bands. And in this modification and option, in case you would like to transmit with this UHF-VHF antenna, you could damage the internal circuitry because of the high voltage inducted on the secondary antenna. So therefore it was necessary to install also the high voltage protection in case you would like to transmit and you have 2 antennas on board. Actually, I don't recommend to use the VHF-UHF antenna when you have the external shortwave antenna installed on your radio, because the SWR will change on the VHF-UHF antenna and you could also damage your power amplifier in the radio. Well, the next upgrade is that the board itself is very tiny. As you can see, the thickness of the board is extremely small. It is only 0.12 millimeter thick. This makes the installation even easier, and also you can see that the board is a double-sided printed, so it is very simple to solder the PCB board on the main board. Well, the installation is also easier because there is no more to replace the choke under the screen, and also you don't need to replace the tiny capacitor, 100 nanofarad capacitor. You just need to remove it, also to remove two other components underneath, and also you need to remove the original chip where this PCB board will be placed on. So here is also the place for just one jumper, and the other jumper will be from here, but I will show you later in the video. So disassembling of this radio is very easy. You just turn off the radio, unplug the antenna, unplug the knob on top, check if you see any screws, but there are no screws over here. Unplug the battery, and then you can see there are not any screws on the back side of the radio. So all what you need is that you use this flat screwdriver to take off the back cover from the radio. Here on the side you can see this plastic cover. It's better if you flip off this rubber protection and take off the back side of the radio. Be careful you not lose this plastic cover. And that's it. And here on the main board we have the space or the place for the modification board, and as you can see that it fits perfectly. The first component which I have to remove is this original receiver FM radio chip. Then I have to remove these two components, and also I have to remove this little capacitor. There is no other things to be removed or replaced. It's good to desolder the speaker to prevent that the wire will not break. As you can see that the soldering is very simple. And now the second side, and also the same. And finally, this one, tiny here, it have to be removed as well. And is out. So as you can see that to remove these components, it is just maybe 1-2 minutes of work, and it is very simple. Now I need to clean those traces by the isopropyl alcohol. It is also good to have the desoldering tape and remove the leftover solder out from the traces to keep them clean. There is no need to remove the solder from these components, but I will. And next I will use the isopropyl alcohol, and I will make these traces pretty clean. Okay. Main board ready for installation of the modification board. Firstly, I better use this very strong glue, and I will glue this little board to the main board, and I will prevent moving this board while soldering. And also I noticed in the first version of the modification that there was a little wobbling, and it was caused maybe because of a little space between this modification board and the main board. So I think that this fixed board will be much better solution to avoid the wobbling. And as you can see that this module is no more moving on the board, which is great. It is always good to keep these pads clean for a better connection. Also, I'm using the isopropyl alcohol. I put the flux for the better connection, mainly when I'm soldering very small components on the board. So here we have to make the jumper from this pad to this little resistor. So from here to here have to be connected a little piece of wire. And as you can see that it is there. The next step will be to create another jumper wire, and it will be connected from the second pad here to here. So here will be a short wire in between. That's the one end. And here will be the second one on this tiny capacitor right here. So we actually bypass this little capacitor in between. And again, the leftover of this wire I will cut with this knife. And let me clean these contacts. So here, jumper here. So after I finished this modification, I need to change the firmware inside the radio. Previously it was the IJV firmware. Now I have to load the CEC firmware. So firstly, we need to push the PTT button on the side and turn on the radio, and we will turn the radio in the firmware mode. Now we can connect the data cable and open the firmware uploader. So open the K5 Rogue for the Windows, and there is a small window, and choose the COM port, which is currently active, and you see that the radio is in firmware mode or update mode. So now open the right firmware button, and then you have to choose the CEC firmware, which I have prepared right here. So I'm currently using the CEC 041 and open. And you see that it is flashing the memory in the radio, and you see the progress right here. And it's done. You can see that COM331 is closed. Unplug the cable, turn on the radio into the service mode. This is done by push this upper side button and PTT button together and turn the radio on and release the keys. Now if you go to the menu, you can find the reset button. I don't know if you see that. That is the reset button. No, only VFO. We want all. And again, sure, yes, and wait. And after this, the radio will reset all the settings from all firmware configuration. Of course, you have to count that you will lose all the memories in the radio from your previous configuration, and you have to load the memories into the radio again. So now the radio should be already upgraded, reset, and I can test if it works. Well, let me say a very important note for you guys. If you are willing to install an independent antenna, that you remove this LED like I want, and you wish to mount this antenna here on this place here for the LED. In this case, you have to remove this tiny capacitor, what I did actually. This is the input, the signal from the original antenna, the VHF UVHF antenna from the SMA connector. So if you remove this capacitor, you will be no more able to receive the signals from the SMA socket right here. And therefore, if you wish to use the SMA antenna as the main antenna and you don't want to make dual antenna modification, you have to leave this tiny capacitor on its place. Because after this, you will be able to receive the signals from the main antenna here. So I removed this tiny capacitor, and now I'm going to do a modification on the LED. So I am going to remove this LED. I'm going to make this hole bigger. And normally I should use the SMA connector, but I don't have any right now on stock. So I would like to use the BNC connector. Okay, I need to test the size of the hole step by step to not make this hole much bigger than I want. Wow, that's good. So as you can see, I did this hole big enough to be able to put there this connector, but as you can see, there is still not, it is still not out, fully out from the body, so I probably have to remove this part of the plastics all around the hole. And also I have to remove this part from the enclosure. I think this is probably the better way. Well, that seems good. And now I have to cut this plastic right here, and to make this connector a little shorter, and of course I have to cut from the center conductor of this connector. That should be enough for the contact. So as you can see that the connector with the screw is there on the place, and I'm using this leftover of one old unused BNC plug, and with this counterpart I am going to tighten the BNC connector to its place. All right, now it is holding pretty good. It's not wobbling at all. So now it's just a question if this will fit into the radio. So let's try. But before I will try, I need to remove the LED from the radio, and therefore I have to open the screen or display, and I need to get there and desolder the LED. Good, that was pretty easy. So the screen is back on place, and as you can see that the LED is currently missing this little gap in the PCB board. This is the center pin of the BNC connector I tried to push. So that's the only way I think to do on it right now, is to very carefully to cut this little part of the main board. I have to be very careful because here you can see these tiny components, and I really have to be very careful to not destroy them. So let me cut the board right now and remove maybe 1 or 2 millimeters from this board right here. As you see that piece by piece, just very small pieces you have to cut, and you are nearly done. Of course, a little grinder is pretty good help in this case. All right, as you see, that 2 millimeter I cut from the PCB board. So let me try this. Now it's time to connect the antenna, but let me show you something. Here, where was the original capacitor, here between this place here, this capacitor I removed earlier. I found that I have to connect this little wire over here, but the problem is that there was not enough space for connect the bigger wire. So I have to disconnect here to cut the trace from here to here. There's the gap already, and I solder it, this trace, from the capacitor. So here I did a jumper wire like here from the capacitor. Both pads on the capacitors are soldered together, and part is on the trace. So this way I connected the external antenna to this board. Be careful you not touch anything around this capacitor place, okay? Well, after this I was trying to put some, or to find some coaxial cable. I found the RG174U, but I found that it's too heavy. It's still too heavy, as you can compare it with just the wire. So I had to change my mind, actually, because of this complication. In case I will find something better, maybe from an old router or from old phone or something, I will use coaxial cable. Let me tell you why. Here is the screen and display. The LCD display produce a lot of noise around. So if you put the wire like me, which is not coaxial cable, this noise will be not shielded, and you will pick up the noise from the screen as well as the signal from the antenna. So therefore I would recommend to use only the coaxial cable to connect this board with the antenna. But for now I am going to use the wire only, and let me show you how I lined this wire. I found this little hole here. This is right under this 3.5 millimeter jack, and let me show you beneath. Here is coming out from the board. As you see, that very close are the bandpass filters, so it's good to get the wire away from the filters, and then is the wire coming into front of this terminal for the battery. This is not a problem if you even fold this wire here and to have some extra cable for the antenna, because you need to connect the antenna somewhere here, and then when you will closing the radio, it will fold here into this space, and this is not a problem. Worse would be if it was somewhere here in this area with the filters. And because this little hole is not used, it is used actually by this pin here on the bottom part of the screen. So therefore I have to probably cut this pin. And as you can see, I cut just the lower part of this pin here, as you can see it here. And here it is missing. So not the whole pin, but just a tiny part of it. Okay, so I'm going to glue this wire here to this place. With the hot glue, and hope it will stay on the place after this. And here you can see how it looks like under the hot glue, and it's pretty sturdy, so it is safe, and it will definitely not interfere with these tiny coils. And the very good thing is that it is isolated from the screen, because here underneath the wire is a huge copper foil. Actually, all these plates here underneath is just the ground and the copper foil. So I believe that it shouldn't be so bad. Now let me connect the antenna. Good. And here is the antenna. And a little piece I will folder inside and cut it somewhere here. So I cut 3 centimeters of the wire for the antenna, which should be enough to be able to solder it right here, and then fold this wire into the radio. And as you can see, it is soldered already. And now I will try to fold this wire and very carefully to put the wire inside and close the radio. But also, firstly, I need to blow the air inside and blow out the dust and so on. And also I need to solder the speaker on it. It is there. Okay. And now I need to close the... It is a little heavy. It's not 100%, but it holds on the place. Well, so the radio has been completed, and now I need to put the knob back on the place. The external shortwave antenna and dual band VHF and UVHF antenna. And the battery. Okay, the radio is ready to work, guys. This is working, and this is the second version modification on the UV-K5/99. Let me test what is the sound on the single sideband mode, which was very quiet on the previous version. So long press of the 0 button, we can enter into the full band receiver mode, and here we can see the AM mode. Long press of the F button, we go to the single sideband mode, and short press of the F button, we change to the upper sideband. Currently on 20 meters, and let's see. Wow, that is pretty loud. Wow, that is absolutely different than on the previous version, guys. This is absolutely different. Wow, that's much better. Definitely. Okay, let me check if the shortwave receiver works. So here we can see some signal. Antenna is not in the full length, but yeah, I can hear some difference already. Yeah, definitely the receiver works after the modification. So the antenna connector is live, and I believe that also 2 meters works. Kind of beardy, and now it's gone, and it's back, and it's gone. So the antenna is also alive, and seems that this antenna also works. Perfect. So just one more thing. It is very interesting. One thing that, if you remember, I didn't use the coaxial cable inside. Actually, currently the body of this BNC connector is touching of the chassis, this aluminum chassis of these transceivers. So let me check the continuity test. As you can see, that the connector is grounded as well, and the live or the center conductor is lined to the receiver board. Okay, so I think it's working pretty well now, and definitely I'm so excited to try this radio outdoors in my garden and on the single sideband. So let me show you how this radio works. So let's do it. All right, guys, I'm here in the garden in the backyard, and here you can see this radio after the modification, and here you can hear how this radio sounds like here after the modification. I'm on 20 meters, which was not able to do on the previous version. You can notice that how loud the signal is currently, or the noise and audio level, how is strong currently. This is the maximum volume.
Για να δούμε, εμείς εδώ τώρα δούμε τώρα πότε θα η όρεξη να φτιάξουμε εκεί να βρούμε τα υλικά πρώτα, να φτιάξουμε το
Papa 9 Charlie Sierra Echo Golf 6 Mike November Delta 73 QRZ Golf 6 Mike November Delta.
This is really receiver.
QRZ Golf 6 Mike November Delta Golf 6 Mike November Delta. Golf 6 Mike November Delta, clear the frequency. 73 the shortwave listeners. Golf 6 Mike November Delta, clear.
I just turned on the AGC on the radio.
Delta Lima 1 Sierra, radio Sierra, flash mobile 59. Okay, Rainer, thank you. Good luck. QRZ Alpha Oscar 175 Zulu. Alpha Oscar 175 Zulu, QRZ. Wait here in Scotland at the moment, but yeah, you have a big signal here, Ferry 5 and 9 plus 5, maybe 10 in the peak, and your audio is crystal clear. Absolutely superb copy tonight, Roger.
Yes, that'd be very good, Adam. Are you kilowatt, Adam?
No, negative 100 watts, Ferry, to a 3-element Yagi. About 15 metres above the ground, pointed your direction exactly, Roger.
Oh, this antenna working good, okay.
Absolutely amazing sound. Very nice sound.
Oh my God, what happened? My power only... My power 120, over?
Yeah, QSL, it's working very well. You've got a really nice, a rich tone to the audio as well, Ferry. You're coming through very well tonight. Absolutely armchair copy, Roger.
Yes. What happened? I don't know. Maybe...
And this is the ferry from Indonesia.
Okay. It's strong now, Roger?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you're booming. Absolutely booming here. It's probably one of the strongest times I've picked you up, Ferry. Very strong at the moment.
Me alegro mucho de hablar contigo. Fíjate mucho a mí, arriba a la montaña, fíjate mucho.
Diese Seite, guten Nachmittag, guten Abend, vielen Dank für einen Anruf von Freund. Plus, glaube die Schweden, den Amerikaner. Gut, ich habe auch die Schweden. Ich bin wohl zurück, bitte schön.
Italia Tango 9, Italia Tango 9, Alfa Juliet Eco, Italia Tango 9, Alfa Juliet Eco 59, R597, corretto, va bene. Ciao, buona serata, non è gentile il collegamento, 73, QSS, Alfa Oscar 275, Radio Hotel, Golf 1, Papa India,
Oh, Mike Delta Sierra. Delta Papa. Sierra Papa 2 Whiskey Delta Papa 59. Good luck. Oscar November 4 Mike Delta Whiskey.
This is 4 kilohertz filter.
November 4 Mike Delta Whiskey 59.
Thank you for flight 9 Jose. You also flight 9. Good luck to the dream. Thank you very much.
Good luck.
TQ20. Echo Whiskey number 1 Mike. Echo Whiskey 1 Mike. Echo Whiskey 1 Mike. TQ20. Over. TQ20. Echo Whiskey 1 Mike.
Okay guys, this was 20 meter band and single sideband receive on the modified UV-K5 transceiver, which is the VHF UHF transceiver. Absolutely amazing modification, I believe. Much stronger sound and very good quality of the audio here. Absolutely perfect. So if you like this modification, guys, you can find all the links down in the video description. There is the link for the radio itself, for this modification module version 2 or 2.1, and also the CEC firmware which is needed to download and install to this radio, because this is the only firmware which is working with this modification on the UV-K5. So thank you very much for watching this video, and I really hope that you enjoyed it. 73, and looking forward to meeting you again in my next one. 73, bye bye.